Welcome to another meeting of TV Holics Anonymous. Quick, hit the follow button so you never miss an episode. You can also follow us on our socials too: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Blue Sky, YouTube, and give us a 5-star rating on whatever you're listening to this podcast on. Welcome to another meeting of TV Holics Anonymous. My name is Ruru and I am a TV Holic.
My name is Mimi and I'm a TV Holic.
This is part 2 of Singles Inferno reunion of episode 1. Yeah. So
okay.
Part 2 of episode 1.
So yeah, Mina-sue basically says Sung-hun reminded her of the bad memories in Inferno. And she also says he's a great guy and I relied on him a lot in Inferno, but when we left things became more uncertain, which means my interpretation is he's a great guy, so I used him the whole time in Inferno, but when we left I didn't need him anymore, so I tossed him to the side.
Yeah, that's exactly what she's trying to say. But Sung-hun can't get it because he's still in the I think he just thinks she's such a great person and she's so nice and everything.
I'm sure he's getting lots of opportunities coming his way now. I'm sure.
But I don't think he's believing it. He doesn't want, when some people are so deluded, they don't want to believe what they see in front of them.
It's also a pride thing, probably. You're no one's gonna use me.
She wouldn't do that to me. Yeah, she wouldn't do that to me. She's a nice girl. She wouldn't do that to me. But hopefully she can see.
Yeah. So Subin says that she basically Hyeon came from the US where she was studying to be in Korea for this program. And he was when we left Paradise, she only had 1 month left before she had to go back to the US. So we went on about 5 dates during that period, which is a fair amount. That's good. And he says, the funny thing was he said that she had a curfew. So there were times where I remember having to rush home with her. Aww. And as a result, he was we started meeting up earlier to make sure they had enough time together. That reminded me of the Korean programs, True Beauty and stuff, where they're
they don't have curfews, but normally they don't have curfews. But but I think she has a curfew because her parents are back in America and she is here and she's going on dates with this guy.
I don't know. Are her parents in America? We don't know.
Yeah, she said that her parents are in America, didn't she? At one point, her family's there. She moved there. She moved to Canada and she moved. Then she moved.
I think she just moved there for studying. No, I don't know.
She moved when she was a kid.
There as well. Yeah. So
I think they feel she has to have a curfew because they don't know what she's doing there. And he
yeah, but even more reason for her to not abide by the curfew. Her parents aren't there. Would you abide by the curfew if your parents aren't there? I'd just lie.
Yeah, I'd lie.
So her parents must have been there.
Yeah, but her parents must trust that she's going to abide by the curfew,
Yeah, but maybe that's great for her parents to trust her, but does she care?
No, but it's different because she can they'll be let me see you in the house now.
Oh God,
maybe she has to go back to her an aunt and uncle's house or something, a relative's house. So maybe that's how it's a real.
This is too much of a story.
No, I am thinking it's probably a real curfew because of that. And then the aunt and uncle or something that she's staying with while she's here in Korea. Yeah. She has to go back to their house. So
Yeah. So then Hye-sun says
get deflowered. Just to get deflowered by Im Soo-bin.
Yeah. So then Hye-sun says, look, we had a great time on our dates, and he says that he was really sad that time went, and she said that he told me that he was really sad that time went by so fast, and that made my heart flutter, because he obviously enjoyed spending time with me. So they basically decided to revisit their relationship after she finished up in school in the US. And they were planning on communicating, but she says that when she left, the communication started to reduce, and there were times where he wouldn't get back to her for a few days, and she was oh. Yeah, so she was I guess he's not interested in me anymore.
Ghosting her. This is the problem with. I've noticed this a lot. Loads of people that go to Korea and they're there's Korean guys really fuckboy they're not how they are in the K-dramas. They're they're use and abuse kind of thing, and then they just drop you.
But it's just idealism of all TV, of all everything. Hollywood everywhere.
No, I think it's a guy thing. I think it's a guy thing everywhere. I think that's what they're men in general. Whatever's in front of them, they'll be lusting over it, and then after it's gone away, they're maybe I can do better, or it's over there, so I don't care. So I'm gonna.
They're thinking of the wrong body part.
Yeah, you're right.
Um, so he says, though his explanation is that before she left, he thought about ending things, and then they stopped talking a little bit when she went away. And he was like, I had a realization that it's only going to be a few months and that she'll be back. So basically, he was saying that he just thought like there's no realistic way that we can be together. Like she's gonna be gone and we're not gonna see each other, whatever. But then he was like, I realized that she's actually only gonna be away for a few months. So he started reaching out reaching out to her again.
Probably
And
he
from then
started
on,
reaching back to her. They're not saying this, but I'm thinking that when it was closer to the time of her coming, because he knows that he can get some action then.
I don't
That's
know.
what I'm thinking, because that's how guys are like.
No, but he can get action anywhere now.
No, but I think as in she's coming
I
back,
don't
so
think.
maybe I can try it
I
again
don't
with
know.
her.
I don't think any of these guys have a problem getting action. I don't think he's desperate to be waiting that long
Yeah,
for her.
I don't think that he has a problem, but maybe he's like, oh, now she's coming back, so I can try it again with her. Like they're
I
like
don't know. I think you're determined to see the worst in any man.
Yeah, yeah, right.
But I think for someone to go double back to that person after like not talking to them for a while, I think that means that you generally it means
No,
that you
because
like them.
that's what fuckboys do as well. I know a lot of fuckboys, okay,
Yeah, but
and they
like
said
long
that that's what
distance
they do. They like to
fuckerism
keep
is
their no. Okay, look,
crazy.
I've had conversations with them about these things, and they're like, yeah, yeah. When they're not like, if you know that they're coming, like they're gonna be like near you, or like you're gonna be hanging out, seeing them soon, like you want to start talking. This is what they've said to me. Yeah, you want to start talking to them again because then there's a chance that you could smash.
Yeah, but that's
That's
long.
what
But
they said.
long distance fuckery is crazy. Like reaching out to someone in the
They do that.
USA
They do that.
because in a few months she's coming back. That is so much long game, and also that's a normal person, a civilian in life. This
Because
is
he also finds her
Subin.
attractive,
This
so
is
he's like,
Subin.
yeah, yeah. So she's coming back, so now let's try it again. She'll definitely come back to me. And it also they said, yeah, these fuckboys that I
I
talked
don't
to
know
about
where they
this,
are right now.
these friends, yeah, that I talked to about this, they're like, oh yeah, it's also like an ego boost kind of thing because like they're like, oh like she dumped me or like or I got rid of her and then now I can get her back whenever I want. Like I had it once, I can get it again. Like so it's like an ego boost for them as well. That's what they say.
I don't know. From what I see with Subin, I think he's quite like to the point. He doesn't come across as like someone who's like with everything we've seen. He doesn't come across as like that calculated a person. I don't think he has time for it. He does feel.
Well,
I
wasn't
don't
it
do feel like
calculating the
he.
way when he was blanking Mina-sue and then he went back, then he decided in his mind
Yeah,
he was
but
going
we
to flip
agree. We
that.
would do the
Then
same thing.
yeah, I know, but he flipped that again. So that it does take a bit of calculation. He's not like a simpleton.
No, but I think he. I don't think he. When he flipped it, I don't think he
And then he went
thought he
back
was
to
being with the intention of being
Hessen,
with her.
but he
When
went
he
back to
flipped
Hessen.
it, when he had that conversation, he didn't have the intention of being with her because he went straight back to Hessen after that conversation. So then he would have had many
Yeah.
other conversations with Mina-sue and been leading her on
No,
in
but
other ways,
yeah,
but nothing
no,
happened.
but I'm saying that he just decided to flip that way and then flip that way whenever he wants, whenever he wants.
I think he was just playing along with what she was saying and like going with her, letting Mina-sue
What
take
about
the
all the
lead in the
Nuna stuff?
conversation.
No, I want you
Yeah,
to
I
come and
think,
talk
but
to me,
because she said it,
Nina.
she was like, yeah, because she said it first. I think he was playing along with whatever direction she was going in. He was like, oh, like Nuna, like she started it, so he was like, oh, okay. She was like, I told you to call me Nuna, and he was like, oh, like Nuna. So I think he was just letting her lead the conversation because he already got
I don't
gaslit in
know.
other
Yeah,
conversations
yeah.
with
No,
him.
I
He was
know
like,
that,
oh,
but I'm just
it
saying
was
in
weird.
general, this is what like they're like. I don't think
Yeah,
like
but I think that's a normal civilian in life. But Subin knows coming off this program, he's going to get a lot of attention.
okay.
So
So you don't think basically,
his ego
yeah,
can be boosted in many ways if he wants to. Just pick
yeah.
someone in
So
your
I don't think
DMs
they're gonna
and go for
last.
it.
Do you think they're gonna last?
I don't know. Well, I'm interested in seeing that. I would need like a reunion of the reunion.
It,
Um.
oh, you might get that. You might get that. Okay. Also,
So
hang
yeah,
on. So so do you think he's a fuckboy or not?
I don't think so. I don't have enough
Because I
evidence to
think
know
he's
he's a
a true
fuckboy.
fuckboy. Okay,
But that must have
he
come
covers it
out some
well.
way with all the interviews and stuff. I don't know what like people's past relationships have come out or anything. So
It
so
looks
he
like they're
says
still dating, but
he reached out again to her because he was like, well, she's going to be back after a few months. So they continued. So he reached out to her. They continued to keep in touch, and they've been talking on the phone often. And Hyesun says, like, I haven't been back in Korea long. I've just come back, but my feelings for him have continued to grow from our time in Inferno. So it's been an upward trajectory. So Subin says, I'm gonna try to keep my word and take her to paradise, as I promised her that I would do that, as she made Inferno paradise for me, which is quite cute. So then the last thing they show, not the last thing, but they show Hyesun and Subin, like their little mini reunion after watching the screening. They had them sit down together at this table and like
What do you think
discuss
about
what they've seen. It was interesting. It was really interesting. Like, you know, in other reunions it'd be interesting for, but you know, it's different because this is the first time they're watching it. In other reunions, they watch the whole program, most of the program, and then they do a reunion.
Oh, you mean Bravo reunions? That's
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah. So Hyesun and Subin sit at the table and she starts teasing him straight away about his flirting ways. She's like, oh, I didn't know you were like that. Like, you're good at doing that.
Yeah, referring to Mina-sue.
Yeah. And then she says, look, my feelings haven't, because he asked her, he's like, have your feelings changed after watching that? Like, do you feel differently about me? And she was like, no, my feelings haven't changed. And she says she's glad he made his feelings clear for her to everyone after they got back from paradise. So she's saying that's one thing, like, I noticed you told everyone and you shut down other people. It was all about me. Like, you weren't leading anyone on. And they talked about Bedgate again, like, you know, how Minji and him were in bed together. And he was apologizing again about the miscommunication. And he apologizes for not showing how much he cared about her and talk about how he's not great at expressing his feelings. And they say, like, look, we're grateful for Seung-il stirring up that shit because, like, at least it made them talk and it made them realize that they really liked each other.
Mm-hmm.
She says, like, he asked about what was the most memorable moment, and she talks about the helicopter ride. And she was like, and he says, yeah, the helicopter ride was when I realized my feelings for you. Like, that's when I really liked. Like,
I thought it was the car when they were in the car together.
Yeah,
on the way to bowling when Mina-sue saw the person.
I think they were quite drunk as well at that moment, so
yeah,
he couldn't really have clarity at that moment. So she says she's like, look, I laugh at your lame jokes.
Did she say
like,
that?
even though they weren't funny sometimes, and she was like, but she was like, but then I don't know why. Like, I feel your jokes. I do sometimes find your jokes funny, but like, I think in her mind it's like a reasoning as to why she likes him. And he says, like,
Hyesun on here. I want to interview Hyesun. She's an interesting person.
So he says, like, I'm not good at talking to someone if I'm not close to them. So she says, you're good at talking without, like, she says, like, that's true. Like, you're good, like, at talking, like, when we're together, but you're not great at talking when you're in a crowd. Like, for example, like, you're great at flirting and calling them Nuna when you're just one-on-one, teasing him about Mina-sue again. And they start laughing.
She's really agitated about that Mina-sue stuff. Like, she's trying to play it off like she's not, but she's very, like, she's bothered by it. She's bothered.
I don't know.
I would be too, wouldn't you? Like, watching the person that you're, like, into and that you're in a relationship with, like, doing all that. Like, it's so uncomfortable to watch. And everyone's there.
Yeah.
It's a lot for her. I felt really bad for her.
The thing is that they're on a dating show, and I mean, I don't know how much I take into real life. Like, if this was, like, I have to take separately, like, if we're together now and you're my boyfriend or we're exclusive or whatever you want to call it, then I'm going to expect you would be completely different to that because we were not together then. We were on a dating show then. So I can't imagine that behavior is going to be that. You have to kind of separate it.
You're more cold and analytical, whereas I'm very much a feelings-driven person. So I'd be, like, all up in my feelings, like, watching this.
No, I think you have to move forward and you have to be like, look, if we're going to give this a go, we give it a go. Now, if I feel like you're being inappropriate with other people and I hear things, that's the moment where you're later on. Now we're together, okay? Well, we weren't together then. Now we're together. We're in a relationship. Now, if I feel you're inappropriate with other people, if I hear some stuff, then if I'm starting to feel a certain way, then we're gonna have to end things because
but that's always different.
I can't do. That I wouldn't be able to do.
I'm a grudge holder person. So
no, it's not even a grudge holder. I don't know these people who stay with people when they feel like they're being inappropriate with other girls and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. I can't understand those type of people. I can't do that. I can't live like that. Like, if I feel like you're inappropriate with other people and I get evidence of that and everything, then I am out. I can't be with that.
Yeah,
that would really mess me up.
Because that's disrespectful to you, and you're disrespecting yourself.
But I don't think the dating show, him mildly flirting with Mina-sue in a dating show when he's not together with someone officially, is like, oh my god, you're gonna be like this.
No, I understand what you're saying, but I
she
also
obviously feels a certain way. Yeah.
No. Yeah, but I wouldn't feel great about it. I'd feel like, wouldn't you want like the guy on the show to be like just into you?
Like,
But
it
that
wouldn't
never
feel good.
happens
It
in the
wouldn't feel
dating
good.
show. There's very rarely is there a guy that's just with one girl from the beginning and that's it. Like, I'm locked in. Like, I'm not going to look anywhere else.
Well,
Because in
I
life,
find it gross. I find it gross. Like, I couldn't date someone like that.
but
Like,
that is
I don't know
but
why
that is the way
they're
that
cool with
people
that.
date
Like,
these days. Very rarely do people. This is a thing. Like, people date in multiples these days. So
yeah.
how are you going to feel? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like, everyone will feel like that. So you have to kind of
But
go
you
with
don't have to
what it
see
is.
it. At least you don't have to see it in front of your
But
eyes
but
and
there are people.
scrutinize about it, be
There,
scrutinized about it.
there are people like us that I couldn't, like, that's not for me, and that's not for a lot of
Not for
people.
me. It's not for
That's
me.
not for a lot of people where I know that you're dating other people at the same time as me. I would be like, oh hell no. Like,
Yeah, it's
I
not.
need you.
If you've got
No.
that kind of personality, you can't be on like dating shows like this because it's like horrific for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they talked about again how close they didn't realize. They were like, oh my god, we were actually so close together in that bedroom, like when we were doing the masks. Like,
Oh
I
yeah.
didn't realize in the moment.
They
And
were
then
feeling the chemistry, and everyone in the room, in the auditorium, was feeling the chemistry too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm so grateful that you came back to Korea. Like, and she was like, yeah, you were meant to come to the US. Like, I want you to go to she was like, I want you to come to LA. I want to
Yeah.
go to LA with you. And then he
I
says,
thought he didn't go because like he wasn't that bothered because that he was being a fuckboy, and also because I don't think he had the coin to
of
go.
course.
He didn't have the coin to go, and also like he was like, oh, where am I gonna stay and stuff, and like, oh, you're gonna be busy at like school and things like that, and like, what am I gonna do by myself there, and like typical
Oh
fuckboy
my
kind of
God, of
behavior.
course he thought.
Yeah, I thought
It's
all
always
of
the
these things,
negative.
okay,
It's
and
always the
I'm
negative.
justified to feel that way because like I don't feel like he's like that great
Well,
of a
what?
guy. Okay,
But based on what?
based on
That
everything.
one conversation in the bedroom with Mina-sue, that's what you're basing this
No,
on.
just continue watching. Continue watching.
So then he says he feels the same way about her as when they left Paradise. So he's like, my feelings haven't changed. And she says she was uncertain when she first went to school, that things would work out, but like she's glad that they started talking more. And he was like, look, the reason why I stopped talking to you and stuff was because I was trying to be more of a realist. Like, that when you're going back to school, like, how can we make this work long distance? And that we would probably drift apart. But that's what made him keep his distance at first. But then he realized she wouldn't be there for ages, and that made him reach out to her again. And they're happy that they can see each other more because she's back in Seoul, so they're in the same city together. So, but look, in general, wouldn't you feel like that? If I know the person I'm interested in now is going to another country, like so far away, I'd kind of like lose it. I'd kind of be like,
No,
what's the point?
to be honest, I'd feel insecure about it because like if they're so hot and they're getting like loads of attention from this is coming out, and then they're going to start getting lots of attention from like the opposite sex for like like I'm so into her or I'm so into him, as in it's a challenging situation, and you're not even like together, you're like in separate countries, different continents, like it's a really huge thing,
Yeah. So then they show Minji and Mina-sue. They have the same kind of setup. They're sitting at a table. And she says she will be. Minji asks about where she is at the moment, and Mina-sue says, "Well, I'm going to be staying in Korea. I've been staying in Korea after graduate. I've been in Korea after graduating. I'm going to be staying here." And this was so funny because Minji's like, "I think you should like leave for a while after the show."
yeah.
And but then she changed it to soften because she was like, I think I need to too. Like, I'm gonna look bad too. But we know Minji don't look bad compared to me.
Mina-sue is
That
the
was so
devil.
funny. I was so shocked that she said that.
No, I'm so happy. She would say that because that's something like I would say as well. Like,
Yeah.
I knew it.
You
She'd
need
say
to
something like
hide
that.
under a table. Like, go find a rock and stay under there for a
Yeah,
while.
love
So
Minji's personality.
Mina-sue apologizes for everything, and then Minji says, like, I was actually grateful you let me. So they talk about that part where, because we didn't really talk about it much. I don't know what happened in my notes, but Minji, that scene where Mina-sue was bitching to Sung-hun about the girls and how they don't like me,
Oh
and
yeah.
the bikini. Like, I even gave them my bikini. I've been so nice to them. So Minji was like, look, I was actually really grateful. Let me just clarify. I was really grateful that you let me borrow your bikinis, because she says, like, I didn't have anything to wear because of my situation. So maybe her bag, something happened with her luggage.
Yeah.
and stuff. I don't know, but she was like,
Yeah.
you know my situation.
And
Like, I'm
maybe
really
that
glad.
her bikini broke or something, snapped or
Maybe
something.
something, yeah.
Yeah.
So then Minji was like, I wasn't trying to be protective, and also like, because even in that moment, Mina-sue said when she was talking to Sung-hun, like, I don't even know, she doesn't want me to speak to Seung-il, like, I don't know when to chat to him and stuff, like, she's like being so protective and she won't let me talk to him. And so Minji
But
clarified, I wasn't trying to be protective of Seung-il. I did want you to get to know him if that's what you wanted and what he wanted. So that's why in that moment when I just heard that and watched that, I was so shocked with what you said.
yeah, but that's why I feel like if it was me, and knowing that that Minji is very honest, I think that I would have been really upset and like had my feelings hurt about that, because I would have I was genuinely thankful that you gave me this bikini and stuff, and I
And
didn't
you
have any
spun
like
it,
qualms
yeah.
with you. Yeah, I didn't have any qualms with you, and then to find out you had all these like hidden issues against me, and like you were like plotting
Using that
against me this
against
whole
me,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like horrifying when you genuinely
Weaponizing,
think
isn't it?
someone's your friend, and then they kind of like betray you like that. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Been there.
So Mina-sue says that she's right, and you're right. I've said some stupid things that I shouldn't have. She was like, look, I was feeling down. That's why I said all that stuff, because of the tension between the girls, because of her actions. She says when you know how it is when you're mentally down, you latch onto certain things, and so I said some bad things. And Minji apologizes for the seesaw chat and says she said some harsh things just out of frustration.
I don't think there's anything to
I
apologize
don't
about.
think she needs to apologize. Yeah,
No,
exactly. I think she should have left it where it was when they were in that
yeah, there's
auditorium.
no need. But I think she was worried about public perception, so
Yeah,
that's why she had to, so she
yeah,
don't get cancelled.
yeah.
But
And
I
so,
wouldn't have. I would have doubled down, in fact, and been like, "Bitch!" Like I would have been like, "Bitch! I know you did that to make me look bad, bitch." I would have been like that.
so she's glad Mina-sue. So Minji says, "Look, I'm glad you reached out first to resolve things between us." And then they talk about how Mina-sue left with a spin, and this is when Minji was like, "I didn't even notice you did that." Like,
Yeah, we already
when I
talked
knew
about
I
that.
saw.
Yeah, we already talked about that.
Yeah. So then
Oh,
Minji apologizes for the seesaw. Oh, sorry. Um,
seesaw. Yeah, she
no,
apologized about the
yeah.
seesaw.
So Mina-sue says she was just trying to get. So I said it in that moment, but this is where Minji was like, "Look, I didn't notice that you spun around like that, but there were little moments like that where I feel like you were like,
Yeah, taking
like,
digs at me.
yeah, taking digs." And she was like, "No, no. Again, I was just trying to lighten the mood. I promise. I promise. I promise." And then
Liar.
they
Don't believe
agree.
anything she says. Minji, if you're listening to this in translation or you can understand what we're saying, yeah, do not be friends with Mina-sue. She is the devil and she's trying to take you down, okay? Because she fears you, okay?
So then
See,
they
Minji.
so then they end it by kind of setting up, I think, for like the following episodes from what I'm guessing, because I haven't seen the rest of them, because they're like, oh, I'm glad we're going to go out for drinks tomorrow, and what are you wearing and stuff. So I guess like they're going to do their separate screenings, and then they're going to have like an episode, like maybe an episode where they all come together and go out. Or are they just saying that because they're like they've done their little, it's like an off-camera thing. I don't know, but
Well, you're
we'll
going to
see.
find out. It's
We shall
exciting for
see.
you. It's exciting for you. It was
I'm
exciting for
looking
me.
forward to it. Yeah.
Well, I was really upset when I saw them not sitting down in a reunion kind of setting, because my idea of a reunion is like Andy Cohen doing a
Mediator.
reunion. But
Yeah.
yeah, but then I kind of like understood why they did it like that, and I liked the way they did it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like I would like both.
Yeah.
I would like this, and then the next episode to be like, now we need a mediator to ask all the harsh questions that we want answered.
Yeah, I want the hosts, to mediate and do an Andy Cohen style reunion, and I think
They
they should
won't. They're
really
too
take that into
worried.
consideration for next year.
They were
I
already
really want
worried
them to
about
do that
being
next year.
cancelled midway through the program itself, let alone starting to ask them questions like that.
I also found out that they're casting right now. So like they're casting and they're picking people from social media and stuff like that, and they're like reaching out to people on social media, and then they're going to start filming in like June, July.
So are
If
Heston
so.
and Subin still together?
Well, it looks like it from what I can see.
Oh, what, on social media?
Not on social media, but like on other like variety shows and things like that, and like well,
Okay.
just carry on watching. Just carry on watching.
So maybe I should finish everything and then start doing my research, right?
Yeah. Hurry
Of
up
course.
and finish watching
Don't be
everything.
stupid.
No, okay, listen, I think that you need to watch the rest of these episodes, make your notes and everything, and
These
then
are very quick. The next one's
for
half an
each
hour.
one. No, but for each one, but try and watch them in bulk and make your notes for each one, and then do it like that.
Yeah, I probably will now. Because
Yeah.
I think that was the longest one.
No. I mean, not together. I'm not saying
No,
we're
I know
still
what
going
you
to
mean.
do
I know
them
what you mean.
separately. We're still
Yeah.
going to do each separately, but
Yeah,
make
I
your
know.
notes and then like file it to the side, and then make your notes for the
Yeah,
next one.
yeah,
file
I get it.
and then we can just do each
Yeah.
episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, yeah. So we'll be back with episode 2 of the reunion really soon. Bye.
Bye.
Quick, hit the follow button so you never miss an episode. You can also follow us on our socials too: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Blue Sky, YouTube, and give us a 5-star rating on whatever you're listening to this podcast on.